Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Romer, and this is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations, and this is my first ever playthrough of Trials and Tribulations. And I've kind of been looking through this testimony that was made by Armstrong. I've pressed everything multiple times, trying to find an answer to this. But I was kind of thinking in between this and the last episode of the last episode's recording. Like, what if the old man isn't as crazy and isn't as unreliable as they make him out to be? Now, I still think his testimony isn't as reliable as it could be, but I wanted to look at this for a second. Not only this, but I wanted to also talk about this thing that he made too. Was it over here he made it? Or it might be back here. The old man maintains that he broke the vase at his own seat instead of the man breaking the vase at his seat. Which was a very funny moment, by the way. But the reason I want to look at this is that all the vases are intact here in this picture. Now, to make this easier for myself, if we look at the floor planning here, over here, he could have been sitting over here. Or what if he was sitting here instead? In the other booth. Just like in the direction around here, like on the left seat that we're looking at now in the bottom right booth. Now that might not be exactly it, but both vases are intact. I'm thinking the old man might have been sitting in a different place and he just got mixed up. Let's present this photo to this. Again, it doesn't matter if we fail too much. They'll just tell us that we're wasting time. Let's see if Phoenix can come up with something different as well, but this is genuinely like where I'm going with this now. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist? Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Oh, wow. I should exist? Thank you. Okay, take that. You know what shouldn't exist? Coffee. Take that. Oh my god, so many people in the comment section are gonna be like, I like coffee. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. So we are on the right track. I think we're right with this. There's something that should not exist in this photo. It's this, right? Because here's the thing. I genuinely have started to believe the old man's testimony a little bit more. Not because I feel like he's reliable, but because we're at a stage now that Kudo has told the truth about some other things, like him leaving the scene of the crime at the time. Right? And I really think this is what we should do here. Hopefully? I don't know. I think that's what's happening. I think he was half reliable. I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have with the witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase at this table. Because it's very clear that contradicts with this piece of evidence. This piece of evidence he has here. See, I think the old man was, like, confused. But I don't think that he was confused enough to, like, imagine into the air a vase breaking and his lap getting wet. I don't think he's that confused. There was one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not in fact sitting at the table next to the victim at all. And this is good as well, by the way. But also in the last one, I was getting very kind of like involved in this case, talking about how I believed that like they were trying to make Kudo sound kind of like he was totally not reliable, while at the same time also trying to warp his testimony to something that could be reliable to them. But I think that we can do the same thing in a way and say, yes, he's not totally reliable, but this is the part of the testimony that means something to us as well. If that makes sense. So why not do that? If they're doing it, let's do it. Don't be an idiot, Trite, that's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. The reflection isn't what we're talking about here. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribien that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Oh my god. This is what I'm saying. I think that more than any other case, and that's why I'm pressing every single one of his statements, he is fibbing all the way through. He really is. Don't try to confuse the court, Wright. Obviously the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary in his own words. He didn't touch anything except the mirror. He did say this, yes. I love when we get Godot in that way. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in that restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear which he couldn't hear? I don't think it was an earpiece, or maybe it was, but like... Now here's the thing, I'm just saying right now, when I had a damaged ear a while back, the first time I played Phoenix Wright Justice for All, I had a damaged ear. I would wear headphones a lot, because you don't just hear nothing in that ear, you hear like a very like light staticky sound. And that can be so irritating, and the only way I feel like I was able to counteract that was like playing something light in my ear while I was like playing a game or something, you know what I mean? I know that sounds weird, but like maybe that's it? I'm not saying that would be it, but yeah. You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that mirror wasn't there, Wright, then this problem is all yours. What? How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Okay, before we do anything, let's look at all the recent evidence that we've gotten. Because I feel like this is going to be pretty difficult, because they're going to try and make me prove something. So we have the victim's ear medicine that was found with unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. We have this that was found at Tenderlender. We have this $1 million bill for cranial surgery, that won't do much. The $1 million radio thing, which says, experience the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday at 1:30 p.m. We know that he was there at 1:30 p.m. Right? We know that he was there at 1:30 p.m. But that won't do for the earpiece situation. But we have to remember this, by the way. I really want to remember this. 1:30 p.m. because there's a reason they put that there. Worn by Maggie at the time of the incident, has a small pocket but big stains. A deadly powdery poison. Yeah, that's not either. The victim got to train me and the bag is empty. Yeah, okay, let's see what they have for us here. Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? I'll try. There's more than just one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. Yes. Okay, there was another man at the victim's table. I'm so worried about this. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason. Why nothing in this case is adding up. Wait a second. Hold the phone. If Mr. Kudo didn't see a CD on the table, and again, I'm not saying he's 100% reliable, but maybe he is. I'm actually thinking that maybe he's more reliable than we think. If he didn't see the CD on the table, right? And he saw an earpiece in this man's ear, right? Which I originally thought it was him just picking at his ear, or not picking his ear, putting the lotion on his ear. If he saw him fall over one sip and all this stuff that was happening there, but he didn't see anyone else at the table at the time too, but Maggie did. Is it possible that this is at two different times? I'm smiling from ear to ear because this is crazy if it's true. I'm sorry for the awkward quietness with no music in the background. If Kudo didn't even see a CD, which by the way, the reason why right, like now, by the way, I didn't know I forgot he didn't see the CD. I thought he might have. But if he didn't, like, there's no way Kudo wouldn't have pointed out a CD. Because he pointed out the newfangled technology, he pointed out all this stuff, and he even pointed out how everyone should be listening to the radio more, right? He would have noticed the CD. He wouldn't have also ignored an earpiece either, right? Like, he would have seen an earpiece, especially if he was sitting in that location across from where we said. Was this a two different... But then, like, at that point... This would have to been a setup, but why would they set up Kudo? Why would they set up Kudo in that way? Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. Oh my god, what is it? The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. Mr. Kudo made a mistake, the ear doctor made a mistake, the victim is a phony. Is this the actual truth? Because this is something along the lines of what I was thinking here. I didn't think he was a phony. I just thought that maybe... Like... I guess that's what I was getting at, but like, I didn't want to say it outright because it's really out there. That's a really, like, what? They made up a whole stage play just for Kudo? Mr. Kudo made a mistake is not the situation here. The ear doctor made a mistake is not another situation. Like, these two are just, like, so not even close to being the right ones. Like, if you pick this, that just, like, throws your whole thing out the window. We're picking this. The case is riddled with contradictions. Yet there's one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. That's what This is awesome. If we can somehow prove this, this is freaking crazy. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter. A phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. What do you got, Godot? What do you got? Because even I think this is a little bit crazy. To prove this, we're gonna need a mountain. I went to bed last night after uploading the last episode I uploaded. Not even nearly thinking this could be an outcome of this court case. Order the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here? Ooh. That's like the first time we've really seen him, like, break his cool demeanor, really, like, totally. What did you say? Trite. Are you saying the one Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee boy. This is, no. All the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was... The servant girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. That's the servant girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but... It is hard to believe. There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. And that's not Maggie. Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was fake as well? Yes. Yes. It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... It's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed something was happening. Yes, but the chef is also what we call, in legal terms, a big red-nosed liar. Is red-nosed liar even a saying? I don't think it is. That's right. Well, witness. If your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Well, see, here's the thing. In legal and official terms, he is a big phony liar. Oh, this is most difficult for me. Phoenix did the right thing and dropped him right away, by the way. Don't let him ramble on. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You were under oath after all. Was there in fact a phony Très Bien that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events of the restaurant that day. Oui. I'm glad the judge, like, loves a good story, because any other judge, I think, would throw this case out already. I'm glad he loves a good story. La victim, Monsieur L, came to my restaurant alone. Yeah, I don't know, I still think he's fibbing. Like, I don't know, that doesn't seem too much of a lie, but again, I still think he's fibbing. I'm using the word fibbing a lot because I think that's what he's doing. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won a lottery, Monel became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. So we know that he got excited at 1:30 p.m. No, there was no time for the phony to do the acting. So we know at 1:30 that's when he got excited. So maybe we can find some time differences here. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. Je vois, pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. I think that at this point, like, you're more unreliable than Kudo. Kudo redemption, guys. Who would have thought a Kudo redemption story? What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Oui. For now, we will hear your cross-examination, Mr. Wright, if you please. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Yes, Phoenix. Yes. Let's get this boy. La victim, Monsieur L, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. So here we go. Okay, so La victim, I think I want to press this. I don't think the first one's too much of a lie. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee at once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special. I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You're most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip and nothing more. So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. How long afterwards was it? How long after was it? So you're saying that not much time elapsed between when the victim and Mr. Kudo arrived? Oui, that is correct. But that still leaves the possibility that something happened in the gap of time. And by your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Let me see. Approximately 2 minutes, I would say. 2 minutes? That's all? It seems unlikely that anything untoward could have happened in such short of time. Rats, I knew I shouldn't have pursued this line of questioning. No, I think we should have. There were no other customers. I don't think we need to press this. When I got word you won the lottery, Mr. L became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. Okay, let's press this to find out the exact time. And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I'm a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry? What do you mean? There is a renowned chef, Jean Armstrong, and a tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? I was writing a poem, an angry tale of a chef and $500,000 of debt. Cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called Pourquoi. It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for la court. Please don't. Yeah, let's not. No, there was no time for phony to do acting. Let's press this as well. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the woman to call from the payphone. By your own argument, Wright. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Bien. It seems the shadow of the doubt has been lifted, n'est-ce pas? I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Elk, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? She fell unconscious. The incident occurred, remember? When the incident occurred, remember? You mean that's when the phony staged his act? We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony. Okay, I guess we could keep doing, cause okay, I'll press this statement as well because again, it's not gonna hurt, but I don't know what to actually present here yet. Was he alone at the table as well? Mais oui, I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table. Ha. Unfortunate for you, Trite. Yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. I agree he did see it. I think he did see him alone. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has he been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Okay, Maya. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. She's always wise. Everyone's wise in their own way. You know what? I'm gonna press this again, but we're gonna ask a different question. Because sometimes, like, you can get the questions wrong. Let's actually speed this up. Because we just want to ask about things. So don't ask anything. What time was it? Let's ask what time it was. Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh, no. I cannot remember, monsieur. I believe we were told by the witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man. 2:25. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened around 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived at between 2 p.m. and 2:10 p.m. No? You're a big phony. You're a big phony right here. Thank you for the help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing, can I? The time of the day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oh, monsieur judge, everything I do for you. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming the song to himself. I remember the old man just arrived around 2 p.m. Listen, sir. Listen, sir. Listen, sir. We know for a fact that he found out about the lotto numbers. We know for a fact that he found out about the lotto numbers at 1:30 p.m. I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. Quoi? Quoi? What do you mean? Or is it qua? At this time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week they announced the winning numbers of $500,000 ticket. Oh, my nephew's playing Minecraft Dungeons. Have fun. Oui, that must be Le Showman Elg was listening to. I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I'm sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I knew it was that time because I had just finished serving my lunch menu. Get to the point, Trite, if you have one. Oh, Godot, I do have a point after all, though. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30? Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. because the show had already been finished for more than 30 minutes earlier by that point. This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listen, I love when Phoenix gets like this, by the way. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over, yes. There was only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there was 2 Glen Elks in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elk, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elk, acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if it wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy? What are you going to say, Godot? Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. The music isn't over yet, Godot. What is this? Music Theory 101? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain then where the real Glen Elk is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court, however. At the time, the real Glenn Elk was already dead. That's certainly obvious, the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer in there. If that customer was the phony Glenn Elk, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examine it, would it not just be in like the kitchen or something? Like he has a lot of like storage in there. Like you could just hide him behind the wall in the kitchen. Like Mr. Kudo ain't gonna go in and look for him. You must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of... Okay, here's the thing. You saying show some facts for once? Your whole case so far, Godot, has been literally this. Your defendant says something, and you go, yeah, that's good. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? It is intense, Maya. It's very intense. I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned all around and backed me into a corner, and I'm a pretty freaking handsome boy. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. L concealed? Outside Tribien, inside Tribien. I think inside. I think it was the kitchen. Like that, like of course, that would be the easiest, like I don't even think that's difficult to like. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Yeah. Obviously the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribien. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you could care to show the court these plans? Yes, Your Honor. The kitchen. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Tribien is... the kitchen. The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? I know where it is. I have the evidence. I'm not shuffling through papers right now. I'm shuffling through the papers from Maya. Maya asked what date it is, and I'm trying to find the date. That's what's happening. It's, I'm not even, like, trying to read these very fast. I'm just going through them because they look nice. Godot. No, I'm not stopping to read this stuff. What are you talking about? I know exactly what it is. Okay. What about weenies, Maya? I know it's something here. Wait, is it this? I mean, Godot, it is this. The victim's ear medicine found covered in unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. Are we gonna say it's this because he took it out of his, like, medicine, his pocket or something with him? And it was found in the kitchen? I mean, it's only 2 points. Let's try this anyway, because nothing else here actually... I mean, Godot, everything here is so good evidence. Everything is... yeah, nothing else will prove it's in the kitchen, though. Godot, I've done telling Maya what the date is. Now, in 1 second, I'm going to give you this. Wow, that was the quickest time I've ever done that. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No. I've never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality for me. But how are we going to prove that it was his fingerprints? Where was the bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribien. Ah, quoi? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elk visited an a clinic and was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. Elk. I love when he spits out. We know we have a little bit there. Mr. Alex's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu. Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenelg? Never, I could not do such a horrible thing. No. Wait, is this him steaming? Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. Nice conjecture there, Godot. Let's see some evidence. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with an empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your my H-deficient friend? Je vois demander pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor. Yeah, I thought that was Spanish. Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? None, absolutely none. Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. Wait, you're letting him throw the coffee on him? As does my gavel. Ooh, it is clear. What do they always say in movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. Yes, 100%. Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. Okay, that's great. At least you told us. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. That's TIGRE. That's TIGRE for sure. I had to go along with it because there was a reason I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. Should we present Furio Tigre to that statement right away and we can focus on the other statements a little bit afterwards? Because, like, yeah. You were forced by who? I cannot say or I will be erased. Let's try a different question then. Oh man, like, there's nothing better in this world, in this game, maybe in this world, than when Phoenix is at his most confident. It is like, it's exhilarating to watch. You're so proud of him. You're so happy for him. It honestly makes me so freaking happy to see how happy he is when we're talking to him. It's so freaking cool. It's amazing. There was another man. We finally have this part of the case a little bit cracked. I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth. You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Here we go. There's one thing I want to do right away, though, and that's with the, Furio Tigre thing. So if you want to tell me that right away, that'd be great. It is true, I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to. Let's present his profile right away, because we know who it is. We know who it is. Did I present the wrong one? Let's end this dance of Ring Around the Rosie, Mr. Armstrong. Look what I mean? When he's so confident, it is like... You know what I mean? Like, if I was in the room right now, I'd be like, that's the dude. That's him. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? There he is. You know? This is the man that you've been referring to. Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, you have actually, Judge. You have. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom? This man is Furio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre, at least not while you had this on you. His loan, right? His loan? John's, yeah. Take that. Take that. Take that is also the name of a British boy band. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. It is as you say. Mr. Armstrong. The tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demands that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and the inconscient Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. I think we now safely say that the man for the forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket, was that your doing as well? None, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable. Here's the thing, here's my thought process on this, guys. And it's that it's freaking horrible to be bogged down by loans. You know, and I think a lot of people can relate. And I don't want to talk about it too much because like it's like, oh, that's so heavy, you know what I mean? So I kind of feel where he's coming from here and how like scary it is, like, you know, because especially when you have someone like Furio Tigre coming after you. But another thing like I would talk about as well is that like he very irresponsibly has let Maggie, you know, like with his lying. I know he's afraid, but Maggie's probably like just as afraid. This isn't a situation where Maggie's gonna, she's gonna lose her job, or Maggie's gonna like, you know, have a fine. She will literally go to jail for the rest of her life, at best, with a murder trial that seems premeditated, which is what it would be if she didn't lose. That's the best case scenario for her, is going to prison and maybe getting out at some point, like, if she's lucky, if she's extremely lucky. The best case scenario is they like prison for life, you know what I mean? There's worst case scenarios as well, but you get what I'm saying. Mr. Godot, you will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. Oh no. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. Oh, he has him already. 30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see it to myself. I need half an hour to get that guy in the stand. Not a minute more. How? Don't sit back and relax yet, Wright. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. He's not wrong. Very well, your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We'll resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. To be continued again. I don't know, I think that like whatever is going to happen in the next part of the trial. There's a garbage truck outside if you heard that, guys. Okay, let's go back to number 1, the stolen turnabout. Man, the stolen turnabout was so good. It's so good. I think whatever's going to happen here like is like the most integral part of this whole situation. Which of course like usually is in the part like in the last part of the trial. Now here's the thing. It could be like that, like it could be go on for a lot longer. But I think it actually could be something. I don't know. I'm not going to jinx it and say that it could be something that like we could actually fail. Because I don't think that's actually going to happen. I think that we can do this. But like again, I don't know anything about this game past like what I'm playing. January 8, 1:28 p.m. District Court, defending lobby number 1. So we're finally going to see Tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick. I wish I could agree. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the TIGRE told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. That's true. See, Godot is not a bad lawyer. You mean, you think Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know. But if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Hey, pal. Oh, here he comes. The hero of the day, Gumshoe. Hello. Detective Gumshoe. What are you so jumpy about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end. Hey, that's the pot calling the kettle black, little top knot. Okay, I don't care if you saved us for it. Let's go. Call Pearl. We're jumping him. It's not a top knot. Never mind about the hair. Just calm down. Never mind about the hair. Just calm down, all right? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kind of get wound up. Ugh. No kidding. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything. Well, hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour. An hour? The trial will have reconvened by then. But, Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right? True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, we're really stuck. Well, the bottle is definitely something important. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour. You bet. In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? The scooter. No. I think this is going to be so important. The music here is so good, too. I think it's going to be one of the most important parts. If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, hey. That's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah. I think it's time we solve the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me, too. Small bottle given to Detective Gumshoe. Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. I won't, Gumshoe. I'll try my best at least. This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. Maya, you just know what to say at the right time. You know exactly what to say. January 8th, 1:56 p.m. District Court number 4. I'm so ready to do this. I'm so ready to do this. Call will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this Furio Tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a tree cup job. No problem. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on. He's pretty lively. Be careful. He still bites. Very well, please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. This is going to be rough. This is going to be rough. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the... Don't hide under the table, Maya, unless there is room for me down there too. Maya and Phoenix under the table. What you say? What'd you say to me? Nothing. I didn't say nothing. Honest. You could have guessed that Fear would have used a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge. I got business to take care of, you hear me? So they'll call me into this hole. Was it you, Spiky? No, of course not. Your Honor? Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? I've never seen that chair in my life. Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as normal. That's it. We're doomed. Maybe you didn't hear me. I said who the hell was to call me in here? There's no need to shout. We can all hear you. What'd you say? There's no point struggling. You're caught in the snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in. Too cool. Don't let it get the better of you, Nick. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question? Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, mass boy. You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird? Maggie, I've got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas.
Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder.
Phoenix Wright. You was the one who set this up, didn't you? You's gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying? Oh, maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. No, we gotta stand firm. Get a grip, Nick. And guys, we're going to end this episode here, and I will see you all in the next one. I think in the next one we might be able to finish this case, but we're going to have to see. I'm still not fully back to work yet, by the way. I'm still recording stuff in advance. So that's why the videos are still pretty long. But they will probably get a little bit smaller in the future. I'm not quite sure at what time. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. And we will go through this witness's testimony through this whole time here. And the thing is, like, I don't know exactly how we're gonna get through all of this, but hopefully, like, we can actually do something pretty freaking spectacular and pull it out of the hat. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye.